What an insane window in UEFA World Cup qualifiers, where we saw the greatest Danish spy absolutely destroy Sweden with inside and then get sacked at the end of it. Piksi, after many years with Serbia, is finally gone, and Ivan Hasek with Czechia is also gone. We saw Turkiye destroy their two opponents in this window. Denmark are continuing to be with Rasmus Højlund on fire. England qualified to the World Cup. And the Faroe Islands picked up 6 points this window. Welcome to the review of the October window for UEFA World Cup qualifiers. There's a lot of groups to go through, but we're all anticipating the November window. But let's get straight into the review of the October window. So Group A, look, it had some good results in it, and obviously Germany winning both games 4-0 and 1-0 over Northern Ireland. Did they play amazing? No. Obviously Luxembourg got the early red card in the game, and that definitely helped Germany with getting the convincing result. And obviously now they're top of the group, but this group is still wide open in my opinion, because still Slovakia are going to have to host Northern Ireland, which is going to be a big game. Germany are going to travel to Luxembourg ahead of the final game between Germany and Slovakia. And yeah, for Germany, I mean, the only thing I have about them is Voltemot is the GOAT. This guy is going to be the starter for them at the World Cup next year. No more Kai Havertz, none of that nonsense. It is Nick Voltegolt. What a striker he is, 6'7". I absolutely love this player. When I saw him play for Stuttgart last year, I was like, who is this giraffe that is dancing around the ball like he's a ballerina? I love Voltemot. Now his aerial ability is showing even more. And yeah, I think overall this window, they didn't play the best, but Germany got the results. That was the most important thing. For Slovakia, I don't think they played well again against Northern Ireland like they did away to Luxembourg. Yeah, they bounced back against, obviously, Luxembourg, but yeah, Slovakia are going to have to improve their performances, and they're hosting Northern Ireland next, and I gotta say, I'm super impressed by this young, dynamic, fast Northern Ireland team. They just look so much fresher. This guy, Galbraith, baller. Absolute baller. He was all over the field against Slovakia and Germany. That's a player to watch out for. But yeah, Northern Ireland lost the game against Germany, but they put up a hell of a performance in my opinion. And Germany, they were made to sweat in that game. So with this group, Germany and Slovakia now on 9 points. Northern Ireland are in third place with 6 points. So yeah, this group is still going to be wide open. Cannot wait for the November window. Group B then, and the greatest Danish spy has sadly left people. Just a moment of silence for Jon Dahl Tomasson's era with Sweden. It's done. I mean, at least Göteborg was super close to Denmark, so they could deport his ass straight to Denmark, because, I mean, Sweden are an abomination. I kind of touched on it, so I don't really want to go too much in depth about Sweden's problems. You guys can check out the video I made on Sweden and how much trouble they're in and why they had to suck Jon Dahl Tomasson. Now he's gone. We're going to have to see who they hire, but, I mean, both games, they were an abomination. No defensive stability. Going forward, they offer nothing. I mean, it was a horror show to watch from a Sweden perspective. So yeah, they collect 0 points. They're at the bottom of this group, but they're still going to qualify to the playoffs thanks to the Nations League. It's just crazy how it works. But Switzerland, they played amazing. I thought away to Sweden. Away to Slovenia, it was a bit of a rough watch. That game was not entertaining whatsoever, but Switzerland still have conceded 0 goals through 4 games. They're still a dynamic team going forward. I still love the Swiss team no matter what. And yeah, their form continues ahead of the final 2 match days. Slovenia now, 3 straight games where they haven't scored a goal. And their next game, they are hosting Kosovo. It is an absolute must-win for Slovenia. And they're not playing well. Yeah, defensively, they got better this window compared to the last window. But going forward, they didn't offer much in either game. Now, the big winners are Kosovo. 3 straight clean sheets. And now all they have to do is just beat Slovenia away, and Kosovo are going to make it to the playoffs, people. I mean, what a job Voda is doing at the moment, because considering that Shegrova is barely fit, and obviously he had to come off the bench against Sweden, but he has brought great stability. Yes, they have some flair going forward, but it's defensively how strong Kosovo are after they got annihilated by Switzerland in the first game. Hajari and Vojevodo, these two, stand up. Take applause, because those 2 players for Kosovo I thought were monsters during this window. And for Kosovo, they just keep playing like this, they're going to be a dangerous team in those playoffs. Are they going to qualify for the World Cup? I don't really see it, but it is a great story for Kosovo that they have now gotten to this point with such a talented team. And we kind of been talking about Kosovo for the last couple of years, that they have the talent, but they haven't performed. Now they're performing, and I think that's down to Voda, the manager. Group C, Denmark and Scotland are rolling. Now for Denmark, Rasmus Højlund is on fire. This man has gone baptized, and he is resurrected into a new Rasmus Højlund because he's on fire, people. And Denmark are on fire. 12 goals scored in 4 games. Obviously, they obliterated Belarus because Belarus are an awful team, but you got to watch Denmark right now. They're kind of finding that form that they had in 2020 to 2022 before the World Cup. And yeah, it's wonderful to see Denmark playing this way because they have a talented team and they should be playing like this. And yeah, all they just needed was just one of the strikers to step up, whether it's Mika Biereth or Rasmus Højlund. And now Højlund is the chosen one, and he's taking his chance with every possibility. And his goal scoring right now is unbelievable. The big talking point is Greece. They're out of the World Cup. They're out of a major tournament once again. They will not qualify for a major tournament now since 2014. I don't really think this is that bad, but they did have some slip-ups. The home performance against Denmark was not great. Away to Denmark, not great. I honestly thought they played well against Scotland away from home. They dominated the game, people. How Greece did not win it is just beyond me. They have just given up too many individual mistakes. That has been the downfall for Greece throughout these qualifiers. Yes, you can blame Jovanovic, but look at the players. They're making simple mistakes, and that cost Greece their chances of qualifying to the World Cup. And yeah, they're out now. They have nothing to play for. Maybe they can spoil the party for Scotland when they host them, but yeah, for Greece, it's been a very disappointing qualifiers. They have a lot of promise. They should be qualifying to the next Euros. That should be the ultimate objective for this team and how young they are. But yeah, I think these qualifiers have been a little bit humbling, but also just knowing you cannot make costly mistakes at this level. Even a Scotland team, and I don't know how Scots feel. This is just from a neutral perspective, of course. They were average in both games. Belarus gave them a good game. Belarus, do you know how bad Belarus are? And they were getting chances and creating really good chances in the game against Scotland away from home. But they were average in both games, Scotland. But guess what? They collect 6 points. I don't know how Steve Clark does this. This guy has 9 lives. I don't know how he does it, but always when it's kind of like Diego Simeone and Steve Clark. When they're under the cosh, they look like they're about to get sacked. They get that result, and they stay on for 10 more games. So for Steve Clark, he knows that his side are not performing right now. And I think the players, and the media know that as well. But they got a chance here, people, to directly qualify for the World Cup. They're on level on points with Denmark. Yes, Scotland are going to go away to Greece and host Denmark, which are 2 very tough games. And Denmark are going to play Belarus at home, so that's a guaranteed 3 points. So it's all going to come down to that Denmark-Scotland game, which should be fascinating, but you expect Denmark to qualify. If you watch these two teams play against each other, or against other opponents, you're like, Denmark are the far superior team. But when Denmark hosted Scotland were just defensively sound. I don't know if that's going to be the case again, but Scotland have a chance here, but Denmark are the favorites. Group D, and I'm just going to say this every single window, it's another typical Deschamps camp. Average performances, but it's nice to see Tolvin score after, 6 years that he hasn't scored an international goal. So that's wonderful for them. Yeah, they went away to Iceland, and yeah, Iceland are a tough opponent at home. That's second goal that Iceland scored. The defense from France, Koundé thought he was playing for Barcelona with that crazy high line attempt, but look, it's France. They didn't have their best players there available, but it's just going to be average. This team are just waiting for the World Cup. They just know they're far superior talent-wise compared to the other teams in this group, so they're sleepwalking to the World Cup. You cannot draw crazy conclusions about France from this window. Ukraine, though, Rebrov, again, he's like Diego Simeone and Steve Clark. He's living with 9 lives here. How he survived not getting sacked and then got back with this window and got 2 key victories. One player, Malinovsky. I thought this guy was gone. Where has Malinovsky been the last couple of years? Because obviously when he was at Atalanta, he was a baller, but he hadn't scored for 3 years with Ukraine, people. He scored 3 this window. Look at that second goal he scored against Iceland. That game, by the way, Iceland and Ukraine, unreal. The golossos we saw there. Obviously some defensive mishaps also. Trubin really poor for one of the goals, but that game was ludicrous, and Ukraine got a crucial 6 points in this window to keep their hopes of just staying in the runners-up position. For Iceland, they battled. They're a really good attacking team. They have to work on the defensive side because That is something that Iceland were really good at from 2016 to 2018, 2014, that they were defensively sound, but then obviously the attack, they didn't have a lot of talent. Now it's like you have Gudmundsson, you have these good players going forward. They just got to work on the defense, Iceland, and they're still going to be a strong team. And for Azerbaijan, at least Santos is gone. Now Spain, they're just going to keep on rolling here, people. This is just a foregone conclusion. 4-0 versus Bulgaria, 2-0 versus Georgia. They're strolling to the World Cup, even though they're missing key players like Lamine Yamal, Dean Huijsen. It don't matter. 15 goals scored in 4 games. These guys are just ready to kill every single opponent. Mikel Merino, this guy's a goal-scoring machine for Spain. He might be the answer at the false nine. Spain love playing the false nine midfielder there. Fabregas in the past. Maybe it's Mikel Merino right now because he gets a goal every single window, and they're going to stroll to the World Cup as well. But at least they're playing with quality compared to the other big teams around the world. You want to talk about like Brazil, you want to talk about like France. Spain are keeping that level. And let's see if they keep up this momentum. The big winners for me, maybe in these entire qualifiers, was Turkiye. Impressive window. They scored 10 goals, people. 10 goals. Now, I'll get to Bulgaria in a moment, but 10 goals. Yildiz was on fire this window. That first half from Turkiye against Georgia, that might be the best half they have played in a long, long time. They were on the front foot. They were pressing. I'm loving Oktoglu in the false nine sort of role because, Turkey don't really have a striker. So Oktoglu kind of playing as that false nine, linking up the play with Guler to Yildiz to Acgun on the other side. Turkey are fabulous to watch. When they're on it and they're mentally ready and tactically Montella gets it on point, they are a stunning team to watch. When it's a shit show and, Montella decides to play suicidal football against Spain, they're going to get caught up and destroyed. So it's just such a weird team, Turkey, because you can see how much talent they have, and they're going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs. They're not going to surpass Spain. It would be a miracle if somehow Turkey directly qualified. I don't see that happening, but Turkey are going to be a dangerous, dangerous team in the playoffs. I just love the talent on this side. I think Yildiz really needed this window because, maybe there was some discussion about him not being at that same level like he is with Juventus. Yildiz did this to the entire crowd and to the entire Turkish media, maybe that were disregarding him. No. Yildiz is that guy. Superstar player. Georgia, defensive disaster. They're going to miss the World Cup. I mean, the only problem I have with Willy Sagnol is, stick to a formation. You want to play the back 5 or you want to play the back 4? I think this sort of instability tactically has brought this team to this point of losing games and getting embarrassed. Now they've lost 3 straight times to Turkiye. They can't seem to get over the hurdle against them, but I think this team has stagnated a little bit. Yes, defensively, they're not the strongest of teams when you look at them on paper, but they were defensively strong heading into the Euros. And ever since the Euros, they had that good result against Czechia, and I just don't like the way they're playing right now. They're just too reliant on Kvara creating that magic, or Mika Dalcic just making that run in behind. Georgia should be playing a lot better. I think Willy Sagnol deserves another campaign with this team, but after that next Euros, if he doesn't qualify, you got to move on from him. At Bulgaria, these guys are atrocious. This is one of the worst teams in UEFA right now. Bulgaria. Do you know what Bulgaria were in the late 90s, early 90s, early 2000s? A competitive team. They're getting embarrassed at home. They're getting embarrassed away. This downfall needs to be studied. Wow, what a shame. Really, it must be sad to be a Bulgarian supporter because your national team is not giving you any hope right now. Group B, and look, Hungary, they bounced back. I know they didn't have the greatest Euros, they didn't have the greatest Nations League, but this sort of qualifiers, I think they've been an entertaining side. They really should have beaten Ireland if it wasn't for the red card and then Ireland came back in the game. They could have held on to the draw against Portugal at home. Now, this time around, they beat Armenia and they get the late draw in Portugal, but they deserve the point away to Portugal. Hungary, they didn't shy from the moment. They went toe-to-toe with Portugal and deservedly got a point, so good for Marco Rossi, good for the players believing in themselves. Gerkes just looks such a different player to Liverpool to Hungary. He's much more on the front foot. He's in attacking positions. Gerkes, just his delivery is always going to be on point with his crosses. So I think for Hungary, they're on the upward trajectory again. They just got to beat Ireland at home. And yeah, they should be fine making it into the playoffs. And they can continue this momentum. Again, they'll be like Turkiye, a dangerous team in those playoffs. Portugal, they didn't perform amazing in this window. Ireland just played defensive ball against them. So yeah, Portugal got that late victory. Great to see Ruben Neves score, and obviously his celebration to Jota was amazing to see. And then Cristiano scored 2 more goals. I mean, Nuno Mendes' cross for that goal for Ronaldo was just stunning. And this guy is just a machine. At his age and still doing what he's doing, it is phenomenal. He will be starting at that World Cup, and as long as they can just supply him, Cristiano will get the goals. He's not going to press. He's not going to link up the play. Obviously, sometimes he'll want to link up the play, but as long as you deliver the service to Cristiano, Cristiano will eat and he will score. That's all you need to do if you're Portugal. Feed the beast like he's right back. Ireland are boring, and there's zero progression with Haugensen. They beat Armenia. Cool. Armenia got a red card. Armenia were the better team in the first half. Armenia got the red card. Game changed. Cool. Then Ireland won. Ireland are not playing good football. They should be playing a lot better. Look at how, Northern Ireland are playing. Look how Wales are playing. Yeah, Wales might not have the greatest of tactics with Bellamy, but these sides are at least daring. They're at least showing some progress. Ireland are showing no progress right now with Haugensen. They need to be doing a lot better. They might scrape their way into the playoffs, but are Ireland going to really do anything in those playoffs with the way they're playing? No. So that needs to improve. I feel bad for Armenia because I think they did really well away to Ireland, and now, yeah, I think their qualifiers, even though they're still in the fight, is going to be difficult for Armenia. Hey, at least Finland won a game. Let's go with that. At least I got to see the youngsters play. So I'm good. I'm happy. I don't care if we lost 4-0 away. Jakob Friis is still the Danish Ten Hag to me. This guy went from a back four, which played very well against Lithuania. He went to a Harambal against the Netherlands away, and we lost 4-0 and 8-4 goals. I don't trust this manager. Just keep playing the youngsters. I'll be happy with it. We're not qualifying for the World Cup, so it really doesn't matter to me. There's my quick stance on Finland. Lithuania, I mean, obviously not the greatest of windows, but they're still a competitive team. They're not getting obliterated. They're not Bulgaria level. So Lithuania, this is progress actually for them. The Dutch, yeah, they scored 8 goals in this window, but I mean, they were not tested. They really aren't. They really weren't. And yeah, I think for the Dutch and Ronald Koeman, just get to that World Cup and then try out the new players and see who can really start in the attacking roles. I think that's where they really just need to settle on. The defense is solid. The midfield is amazing. It's just about that attack. Are you still going to go with Donny Malen heading into the World Cup? He shows up for the Netherlands. I'll give him that. But really, I think we can improve on that. Poland, they got a crucial victory away to Lithuania. And now this group, it all just comes down to that game between Poland and Netherlands. If Poland win, yeah, they're still behind in the goal difference, but at least it makes things interesting. Big result for Austria, 10-0. I mean, I really cannot care that much because it is San Marino, and Austria are just shameless. They were just trying to get the goal-scoring record for Arnautovic, so kudos to Arnautovic. He got 4 goals in the game, but 10-0. I mean, it's San Marino, and we know that they're a poor side. Bosnia really dropped points against Cyprus. I was watching the game, super entertaining. Really, Bosnia should have won the game. They created enough opportunities. Even though Cyprus in the first half, they were really daring. They created their own good chances. They missed a lot of easy chances as well. But this game was highly entertaining. But Bosnia will be kicking themselves, giving up that late penalty. And Cyprus, Cyprus also kind of like Lithuania, competitive team nowadays. You cannot just roll over them anymore. Cyprus then beat San Marino, and then Romania, I think, deservedly beat Austria. I think Austria really performed poorly, and this is something I've been saying a lot throughout these qualifiers, is that Austria are not playing at that same level like they were heading into the last Euros. I don't know what's happened to Ralf Rangnick. They kind of just seem so one-dimensional. When the high pressing doesn't work, the high-intensity football doesn't work, which player can really stand out on this Austrian team? They don't have a lot of difference makers. They're a great unit, but who's going to be that difference maker on this team? Look, they're heading into the last 2 match days, and they got a 2-point edge over Bosnia. And obviously, the last match day will be Austria playing against Bosnia. It could be that game that decides what happens, but Bosnia are going to host Romania. So if you're Bosnian, this is still not over. You could still get dragged down, even though I think they played really well in these qualifiers. And Romania needed that confidence booster of beating Austria because they've been on the downward spiral a lot since the Euros. But getting that victory over Austria will bring them confidence, I think, heading into the playoffs. Norway, man, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I have no more superlatives. This side are just insane. 29 goals in 6 games. They destroyed Israel. I mean, absolute. This game could have been 7-0, 8-0. When Holland missed those 2 penalties, I thought, wow, okay, he might miss those 2. He'll get a hat trick. And what did he do? He got another hat trick in these qualifiers. I mean, Norway are just going to stroll. I mean, yes, they still have to play Estonia. And I mean, barring an absolute miracle and Estonia getting a point, Norway should be fine. And they're going to qualify to the World Cup. Obviously, it's not official, but Their goal difference right now is plus 26 compared to Italy's plus 10. Even if they lose that last game against Italy away in Milan, it won't matter. As long as they just don't get absolutely embarrassed or have an all-timer fumble, they will be qualifying to the World Cup. But this side they're just enjoyable to watch, aren't they, people? Sorloth playing well. I love Sanderberg in the midfield. Haaland, of course. Even though, obviously, Ødegaard was missing in this window. Antonio Nusa to Oscar Bob. It's just so much talent on this team, and there's so much more fluidity within their play. Yeah, let's see if they can keep it up, Norway. I think for Italy, positive window. Yes, they kind of struggled at times against Israel and Estonia, but two positives. Matteo Retegui. Maybe Italy found a striker next to Moise Kean. Play those two guys. They work wonderful off each other. Obviously, Moise Kean had to come off injured against Estonia, but Retegui said, okay, cool. You're gone, buddy. I'll take over from here. Don't worry. I got this. So at least for Italy, they have a proven goal scorer in Matteo Retegui and another guy in Moise Kean. Maybe heading into these playoffs, I think that's a positive sign. Defensively, they're still not the strongest, I would say, with Gattuso, but it's a work in progress here with Gattuso in Italy. They just got to get some confidence. They're not going to catch Norway, barring a miracle from Estonia. So yeah, for Italy, it's going to be the playoffs, but I'm at least enjoying the football they are playing. Group J, and it was an absolutely massive window in this group. As Belgium drew 0-0 with Macedonia, I think for Macedonia, that was a great result. They just went there to get a point, and they got exactly what they wanted. For Belgium, it was a little bit of frustration. They just didn't have their shooting boots on the day, and that really cost them. Kazakhstan obviously beat Liechtenstein 4-0. And then the next match day was absolutely insane in this group because Macedonia drew 1-1 with Kazakhstan. That is unacceptable. Yes, Kazakhstan are a competitive team at home. Away from home, they're not the same team. So for Macedonia to drop points in that game, Miovski, by the way, this guy is not good enough. I saw it at Girona. I don't care what he did at Aberdeen. He is an average striker. And he's not going to elevate this Macedonian team. So, yeah, I think for Macedonia, while it is still a little bit like up in the air if they're going to qualify to the playoffs, they should be fine. They're right now on a +9 goal difference, 3 points ahead of Wales. And yeah, Wales, look, I like Craig Bellamy. I feel like he's trying to play good, attractive football. But sometimes you got to know when to drop the defensive line. You're not Ange Ball. High line for life. He's got that tattooed as well, Craig Bellamy, because sometimes the tactical setup he had against Belgium, I'm like, you're just going to allow space to Doku. And Doku was feasting on the day. Doku was unplayable against Wales. Yeah, he didn't get a goal. Maybe he should have gotten a goal in the second half. But Doku was unbelievable. KDB getting 2 goals. Great for Trossard. Trossard kind of gave up the ball for Wales' second goal. He said, all right, cool, I'll get the goal later. And he got the goal later to ice the game. I think for Belgium, that was a pretty impressive performance. Going away to Wales. Wales is always a difficult ground to go to. Not many teams get a victory. So for Belgium, you know, the momentum they had wasn't the greatest. How would they bounce back? I think for Rudi Garcia and these players, you know, we always expect Belgium to qualify, but just getting that key victory, it could bring confidence to this team. But yeah, this group is now going to go down to Macedonia and Wales, and who's going to get that playoff spot. Group K and England have qualified to another World Cup, so congrats to Tuchel and his side. They have conceded 0 goals. They've scored 18 goals, and yeah, I mean, they were always going to qualify for the World Cup, but there was never, ever any doubt about it. Now I see English people talking about, oh, we need to revamp the qualifiers. No, you don't. Maybe you need to kick out the guys like Andorra and San Marino, but you don't need a total revamp. What do you want to make it difficult for you? You're England. Don't you want to have a cruising World Cup qualifiers compared to Euro 2008? I mean, it's ludicrous to me, but England, I think they're continuing to play well with Thomas Tuchel. I think there's been so much discourse about Jude Bellingham not being selected. The dude's injured. Okay, cool. Let Thomas Tuchel try out some other players, and England are just in a flow right now. I think they had a really good game against Wales. I didn't get to watch it, but from what I heard, they played a good game against Wales in the friendly. And yeah, I mean, they're going to destroy Latvia away from home. So yeah, congrats to England. Obviously, we'll have a much more in-depth video heading into the World Cup about their aspirations, the lineup I would choose, and all that sort of stuff. But the big game in this window, in this group, was Serbia hosting Albania, and Albania won 1-0. I mean, you knew this game was going to be tense. At least there was a goal in this matchup. Did Serbia play terrible? No. Did they play Serbian way? Yeah. So that means average, not really enjoyable to watch. Like this side with Piksi, and obviously Piksi resigned. It's the right thing to do. This team have stagnated so much since the World Cup in 2022. When they had that 3-1 fumble against Cameroon, I said, no. And then they played that crazy emotional game against Switzerland. Piksi just, all the momentum, all that aura he had within this team. They were playing such good football heading into the World Cup. It's completely died down. They need a total reboot. They needed new players. They need new formation, new tactics, because Serbia still got some good players. They got a lot of young, talented players, but this team just don't have any urgency anymore. I mean, they were 1-0 down to Andorra at one point. Yeah, they won the game 3-1. Good. You might at least push it to the final match day against Albania, but both sides are going to play against England in the final 2 match days, so it's definitely an advantage right now for Albania, unless Albania do a crazy slip up in the final 2 match days, which I don't really see. And for Slovenia's side, what a massive victory going away to Serbia and winning 1-0. Manash with an unbelievable half volley. Yeah, did they create a lot of chances in the game? No. Just for Albania, it's just about beating Serbia. That was the most important thing for them. And then they beat Jordan in the next friendly. I didn't get to see the lineup, but I did see the crazy Puskas goal. So the Puskas aura is back with this Albanian team, because that's what they were heading into the Euros. Massive, massive window for Albania. And I think there's a lot of question marks now for Serbia and which direction they go to as a national team. And the final group, and probably the most stunning results and stunning team from these UEFA World Cup qualifiers in October, Faroe Islands picked up 6 points. First off, for a nation of 55,000 people, this is insanity. I mean insanity, because Montenegro have been a competitive team in this group, and they beat them 4-0. This guy, Fredriksberg, I've seen him from Klaksvik, baller, absolute baller. But Sorensen, I think he's a defender, and he scored 2 goals in this window. Actually, 3, excuse me. He scored 3 goals in this window. Look, Faroe Islands, the rise they've had is just sensational. I mean, you have to think about the circumstances they're up against. Low population. The league is not the greatest, even though Klaksvik qualifying to the Conference League is a massive achievement, but it seems like they've gotten now proper infrastructure, proper coaching, and look at the strides this nation is taking in football. I mean, what a window for them. Beating Czechia 2-1 at home. You know, they could have really collapsed after they conceded the goal, but no, they bounced back again. I mean, what a window for Faroe Islands. So congrats to any Faroese watching this. This got to be like the greatest window ever for Faroe Islands football. And will it continue? Well, they're going away to Croatia. Faroe Islands have actually been a really competitive team throughout these qualifiers. You're thinking about those games they had against Montenegro and Czechia away. They just conceded late goals. Can you imagine if they got points in those 2 games? Faroe Islands might be qualifying to the playoffs. Yeah, Faroe Islands. But now it's going to look like a very daunting task, because Czechia is still going to play Gibraltar and Faroe Islands are going away to Croatia. Not going to happen. Croatia, Czechia, 0-0 game. Nothing to talk about. It was not an enjoyable game to watch. Croatia beat Gibraltar 3-0. But now for Czechia, where do they go? Because Ivan Hasek is sacked. Who do they hire? Do they go for a foreign manager? Do they go for another Czech manager? Really an interesting discussion here for Czechia, because are they good enough to qualify for the World Cup? I don't think so. I think this team are just defensively solid. They don't have a lot of goal scorers, and I feel like they're going to be a difficult team to play against in the playoffs, but they just don't have any difference makers, which you need, I think, in the UEFA World Cup qualifying playoffs. But yeah, this group, Croatia will qualify to the World Cup. Czechia will still get to the runners-up. And even though Faroe Islands were amazing in this window, they should be immensely proud of the achievement they have made so far. There we have it, people. The long review of the October window. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Biggest winner, biggest loser, which player stood out to you, which player was absolutely abysmal in this window. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. And remember, in a couple weeks, we are dropping the final prediction of the November window, where we will finally know all 12 directly qualified teams from the UEFA region. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here for more UEFA World Cup qualifying content. And remember to follow me on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, join the Discord, all those links in the description down below. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time, adios.